Welcome to the I Love Coaching podcast, the show where we help coaches, entrepreneurs, and leaders build businesses that create massive impact. I'm Adam Roach, alongside my incredible co-host,
Jess Webber, and we're here today to bring you the best strategies, mindset shifts, and real-life success stories to help you level up in your coaching journey.
Whether you're launching your coaching business, scaling to 6 or 7 figures, or just looking for inspiration to push through, this podcast is your go-to resource.
We're bringing you expert insights, real talk, and actionable items every single episode. So if you're ready to take your coaching game to the next level,
then let's dive on in. It's time to talk about the data that we have collected from coaches about kind of the 3 costly mistakes that they make when launching and or growing and scaling their business. Listeners, we know that you have these because we now have enough proof of concept and track record in this space to share with you these 3. And number 3, Jess, is going to blow people's minds because they're doing it right now.
Yeah. I mean, we see this time and time again, year over year with hundreds of coaches that we've worked with. So let's talk about the first mistake that we see kind of as the most common one, Adam.
Yep. And you guys are going to like this one because this is going to not only hit home, it's actually going to make you smile. And here it is. You're not charging enough. Jess, we have done podcasts in the past about pricing. And this is where a lot of coaches, I know this is not a measurable number, though coaches make mistakes, is they come out of the gates and they think they have to start at this entry-level price because, quote unquote, that's their worth. And that's BS, Jess. That just doesn't work. And that's why they're not launching the way they want to launch.
Well, that's where I think we see a lot of people who come in and kind of test the waters, but they let imposter syndrome get in the way. And so they will start at half or a quarter of what they really want to charge as their first price to gain some sort of confidence for themselves, some sort of proof of concept with a client or two. But then they struggle because they don't feel like they ever have the ability to increase that price to what they really truly want to be charging.
Isn't that funny? It's so interesting. And again, we're not laughing at you. We're laughing at the idea that people lead in their coaching business with fear around pricing.
Yeah.
And again, that's normal, y'all. That is normal. Any product-based business out there is going to want to find their market with their price. And if you go back and listen to some of our past podcasts, I don't know, just if it was 2 or 3 ago when we were talking about pricing, this is where you have to pay attention. When you are charging for what you think your worth isn't for sale. This has nothing to do with your actual worth. This has everything to do with your payoff. Right? So that is the value that you're providing someone to go from A to B. Though most coaches, when they start their coaching business or when they get a little more reps, they think that they have to increase their confidence before they can charge more. And we know that's not true. You need to actually increase your prices and increase your confidence at the same time.
Well, I believe that the price actually creates the confidence. And so just like a client equates value with price, a coach equates confidence with price. And so when you go into a conversation with a potential client and you are saying something that is significantly lower than where you really believe you should be, your confidence is low. You flounder in the conversations, or you don't have the same conviction around it that you do when you go in with confidence at the right price. And we often find that the clients who opt in at that lower price point typically are the worst clients to have. Not in terms of being negative, but they're the most needy. They're the ones that question everything. They want the kitchen sink, kind of people. And so when you are really charging the right price, it creates a completely different feeling in your business as a coach.
Yeah. When coaches step into this place of charging less, right? They think that charging less is going to yield more yeses, but it actually gets a signal out to the marketplace that they're inexperienced, right? That they're inexperienced, that their product or their brand is not a premium brand. They think they're going to get more and they're not. They're actually going to get less because of what the market is looking at them with a low price. And it happens all the time, Jess. We see this all the stinking time. Let's jump into some solutions here for the coaches on this price. That price is based on transformation, not time. And That's where the coaches have to really lean in, is understanding that the price that they're setting for their client is actually the price that is going to transform their client. This is the mindset that they have to get in, they being the coaches. Because when you can set that price, and we know people pay to pay attention. And when you have a high ticket premium price, people who pay a lot are going to pay a lot of attention. And it's going to signal to the marketplace that you are a premium product.
Well, that, and we, like you said, people pay to pay attention. They also have a transformation when that transaction takes place. And so if you believe that you can have a big payoff, a big transformation, then there should be a big price attached to that. And so I would challenge any person, strategy-wise, who is considering a certain price, the next time you have a client conversation, a potential client, go double it. Go triple it, because the worst thing they can say is no. And you always have room for negotiation. But when you start too low, it is almost impossible to comfortably ask for an increase, rather than saying, hey, my time and your payoff is worth X amount. I really believe in you. So you know what? For 30 days, I'll give it to you at a discount, understanding that the next 30 days and so on and so forth are higher. Or here is my price. Here's what it is. And I don't give discounts, but I can add value. I'll give you an extra hour. I will give you an extra opportunity. I'll give you an extra resource. So there's different ways to approach this. I don't like discounting, personally speaking. I know some people will do that because they feel like they have to, but I think adding value rather than discounting, again, sets that standard.
Yeah. No. So solution here, find your price. Your price is attached to the payoff that your client's going to get. Let that price be a point that is actually causing you to show up better, you to show up higher, you to show up in a space that is bigger, better, faster, stronger than where you are right now. And understand this, that if you discount, let's just put it this way, from my mouth to your ears, listeners, don't discount. Add value, right? Just add value. And if you want to be a professional in this space, before we go on to number 2, when you add value, let's make sure that the value is not your time. Add value in something else, right? Add value in something that is going to be a leverageable piece, right? If you have an event that's coming up, or if you have something that is going to continue to add value, maybe it's proximity to something else. Don't discount your prices, add value. Just number 2. Let's look at number 2 here.
Okay. So the second mistake that I see in our community and with our coaches frequently, as well as others that aren't part of High Love Coaching, is they obsess over perfection instead of getting visible. And what do I mean by that is they focus more on their tech stack or their brand stack and their brand presence than they do in their relationships. They want to have, the perfect logo, the perfect color scheme, the perfect typeset, the perfect, language on their website that resonates with their perfect avatar. I mean, it can go a million different ways. I've seen coaches get obsessed with, oh, well, I'm going to have this freebie that leads into this low ticket thing, that leads into a mid-level thing, that leads to my one-on-one. And they're trying to build this entire vast empire without serving a single person. And so they focus on perfection over launching and figuring out what is actually the right language, what actually resonates with the marketplace, and who they actually want to help. Because let's face it, Adam, we have a perfectionist idea of who we want to help and how we're going to help them. But until you're in the trenches doing it, you have no clue.
It's interesting how these two tie together, because if you get your pricing wrong, you think that this is where you have to add value, right? You think that everything has to be perfect. And we're here to tell you it does not. It does not have to be perfect. A buyer will buy. Why? A buyer's going to buy because they want to buy, right? An individual that needs your problem solution cycle is going to buy. So if you are attempting to make that your payoff perfect, it's not going to work, right? It's not going to work, because when truly, Jess, the readiness comes from doing, not just tinkering.
Exactly.
Right?
Confidence comes from doing it too. So you aren't going to grow your confidence if you don't have clients, and you're not going to get clients if you never launch, and you're not going to make any money if you never launch. And so if you're spending all this money on a tech stack, or you're hiring, marketing experts off of Fiverr to create these logos, which, let's face it, almost every coach that focuses on a logo first, it's an ugly logo. That they don't even need, and then you turn around and you look at our most successful coaches who launched within 30 days of joining us, and every one of them, they followed our plan of, hey, figure out who you want to help, how you can help them, what's your payoff, and then go have conversations. And then come to us after you have a conversation and somebody raises their hand and go, what do I do next? That is the best way to operate.
It really is. And when we were preparing for this, I was actually doing some reflection on my own time. When I stepped into Beverly Hills Tennis, man, that was a wing and a prayer. We had nothing ready to go to marketplace and say, oh, we're Beverly Hills Tennis. We have this, and this. No, we were tennis pros, right? Come here, we'll teach you more tennis, right? And then when we launched Recruiting Bridge, it was the exact same way. This was something that was built for me, that then a few other team leaders who were looking over my shoulder said, I like that CRM. Let me give it a trial run. I said, okay, go for it. Now, my programmers and developers were not happy with me because, again, we hadn't optimized it for massive scale because it was just for me. But guess what? We just did it anyway, and it had massive success. Same thing here, Jess, with our community. We know that our blueprint is second to none out there because it gets people into action super fast, and yet we are on version 7 of it right now.
Oh, yeah,
right?
and so that is discussed.
A time period thing. That's right, exactly. And so what's really neat about this, what we want to land here with the listeners is, if you are tinkering, stop. Stop tinkering, go start taking action. And what you'll find is what your market wants and what it doesn't want, and then what you need to optimize to go tinker on. That's the key there, is allow the market to tell you where you should be tinkering, not in what you think. Because when you think you're tinkering with the right spot, you're 90% of the time wrong.
And I want the listeners to know that this entire section was for me. Adam knows this. I literally built an entire website, brand, company, everything, just like we've had other coaches do. Even when I was telling them not to do it, I was still doing it myself because that's who I am by nature. And I have literally sunset every piece of that, because it isn't that I can't help people in that space. It isn't that I don't like that space. But once I started helping people and actually coaching people live with only a payment link, I realized that those were not the people that I really wanted to spend my time with and where I wanted my coaching, endeavors to live. And so it is just such an important thing to take action, like Adam said, which is why I love having him in my life to kick my rear in gear. And so I'll challenge anybody who's listening, like you said, Adam, or tinkering, go to your social media, go to your email list, go to wherever your connection with humans lives, and say something as simple as, hey, I've opened up 2 extra slots for coaching. If you're feeling stuck, let's have a conversation. That's it. That's all you need to do. You don't have to have anything else built. Just take that action and start having those conversations.
Yep. So here's the neat part about this. Before we go on to number 3, which I think is probably the number one thing that all these coaches and or entrepreneurs should hear, I want to invite you all that are listening. Jess and I are going to host a 10K challenge. What's a 10K challenge? A 10K challenge is we're going to help you establish a 10K offer, and we're going to launch this to the world, right? And what I mean by the world is anybody who wants help launching a 10K offer in their coaching business, we are going to teach you how to do that in 5 simple days. 5 simple days. Jess, is there anything you want to add here?
If you want details on this, whether you're a person looking to build a one-on-one coaching thing, a group coaching opportunity, the challenge is for you. And so you can find out all the details and get registered on ilovecoachingco.com. And we hope to see you there.
Just go register. Again, take action. Go register. It's going to be the best 5 days that you have spent online with us in this space, specifically for helping you establish what that offer should look like and how to go take action. Just let's dive into number 3, because this is where we see so many coaches have mistakes. I'm going to say entrepreneurs as well have mistakes, is in this coaching space. Try to coach, keyword try to coach everyone on everything. And that is going to it's going to be like quicksand. And it's going to suck you down. It's going to hold you down. It's going to be an anchor in your business, because while you can coach to the person and you can probably help them in certain spaces, you don't want to help them in every space. You want to have a path and a product that has a payoff that you have experience in.
Yes.
Just that's the key is you got to have experience in this. So we see so many coaches step into the coaching space as your favorite word, generalists.
Yes. Well, and that's, you were headed right to where my brain was, is typically people they'll pick a niche in their head, and that niche might be real estate or, business operations or something, sales, right? Marketing. It doesn't matter what it is, but they'll pick a very broad or general topic. And then they'll be like, I am a marketing coach. And I'm like, great. How do you help people specifically? What is your specialty inside that big umbrella of marketing? And they'll be like, oh, well, I can help with social media. I can help with newsletters. I can help with graphic design or website building or SEO. I'm like, holy guacamole, slow your roll. What do you want to be known for? Right? That specialization is what makes people come to you and be attracted to you and be willing to pay a premium price. If you're sitting there and being like, I can do it all, then people are much less likely to remember you because you don't have something special attached to you. And so people,
vague messaging equals vague interest.
Yes.
I mean, it's just that simple.
Or
if you have vague
memorability is what I was going to say.
Yeah, very, very true. Again, think about this. I think we might have even talked about this in past podcasts. Let's look at in the medical space, right? If you are a general practitioner versus a specialized, heart doctor, which you can relate to, the heart doctor is going to make a hell of a lot more money than the general practitioner. Why? Because they specialize in one specific thing, which again, supply and demand you can charge a premium for that.
Well, exactly. Like, we've talked about my kid has heart condition. He's had 6 heart surgeries. Would I take him to his pediatrician, or would I take him to his pediatric cardiologist and her pediatric surgery team specifically for his heart surgeries? Who would I rather pay for that? How much would I rather pay for that to get him in the cardiology team versus the pediatric office, right? Or urgent care. And so it's one of those things that no matter what you're specializing in, it needs to be special. It needs to be specific, because then the payoff is specific and the price and the value are specific. So it helps you not feel like you have to build as much, launch as much, sell as much, scale as much if you focus on one thing. And one of our favorite acronyms that I think was originally coined by Robert Kiyosaki is the acronym of FOCUS. Follow one course until successful. Which means that you don't have to do all the things. You have to do one thing really, really well and become known for that one thing. Even to the point of, like, our friend Rory Vaden has an entire book and concept and company around being known for solving one problem in one word, right?
That's right. Yeah, it's very true. Because if people don't know exactly who you help, what you do, they're going to move on.
Exactly.
Right? They will move on. So if your approach is social media, if your approach is ad space, or if your approach is DM lead generation, and you don't have a specific focus for your avatar, or I don't even say avatar, but a specific focus that can help someone specifically in an A to Z space, that you're going to help them with this payoff, they're not going to stay engaged with you. They're just not. They're not going to engage you. They will maybe watch you, but they're not going to engage you. If you want to get engagement, tell them exactly what problem you solve. And that's the neat part, Jess. I'm just going to pat ourselves on the back with our blueprint right here, because in the very beginning of our blueprint, this is where we help coaches is get really specific in what we call their macro and their micro problem solution cycle, right? And it's so unique to them that's why it lands. They don't have to fake something because they've experienced this for themselves. And that's a whole nother conversation of character shaping events. But This is where I would say, Jess, this lane right here, we have done such a great job to help coaches go so deep in this that's why the community is so special, is because there's so many uniquely positioned coaches in specific spaces that are winning right now.
Oh, 100%. Tactically speaking, if you're struggling with this, the easy way to go about it is to create a sentence that says, I help somebody specifically, right? It's not I help humans. It's help realtors. I help whatever, with what payoff? What do you help them with? How do you help them, right? So I help who with what? That becomes your new bio on your social media. That becomes your new singular statement. When you're talking to somebody, it's your elevator pitch, right? And then they can ask you more details, or you can go into more details, but you need to have a specific statement that tells people who you help and how you help them. And that right there is the first step to becoming a specialist. You are so right. Yeah, we'll have the general admission, which gives you access to Adam and I teaching you strategies and tactics, and you'll 1 hour. I was getting slow. You were going too fast. I was going to say, you're going to walk away with tactical things that you can do each day after a 1 hour session with us. However, we have an upgrade. If you're interested, VIP will have an additional hour with Adam and I every day for Q&A. So we'll get really tactical and really specific on your specific offer. And so we'll have the Q&A session, plus you'll have access to the recordings of the event. So that way, if you feel like you either can't make it for a day or you want to go back and revisit it a little bit more, you'll have more access and more proximity to us and to the content. So again, both of those offers are on our website, ilovecoachingco.com. You'll find all the info right there. And we would love to see you in our world, because we believe that everybody has an opportunity to be a massively, wildly successful specific coach for somebody in something. Yeah. So undercharging, overthinking, or being unclear in your niche. And that's where we hope to help you resolve all of those things quickly and efficiently, so that you can have the biggest and best business that you want and serve the most people, because that pours into our big mission and our big why of changing and serving 100 million lives.